Welcome to Agile Business Radio. This is John Orbos, and today we have a guest, Ilio Crummins-Beans, from a large data company, sharing his perspectives on business agility. And today, like always, we're just talking about business agility, his experiences, where he is and where he's going in this space. We usually start off with a current state and a future state. So Ilio, welcome to the program, and thank you for your insights today.
Thanks, John. It's a pleasure to be here.
So we're going to start off with, as usual, the kind of driving question, the kind of current state of where you are. Can you just give us a current state of where agility is, and then we'll get into the business agility part?
Sure. So we are about 2 years into a lean agile transformation. And for us, that means that we're extending our lean and agile practices beyond traditional software development. So we're working with groups within content, our analytics teams, our HR or people teams, finance, marketing groups, because we really think to become a lean enterprise, you need to extend beyond just software.
All right, I got to stop you there.
Sure,
sure. You're just, the fact that you just heard HR, I heard finance, that's rare. I mean, let's get right into it. I mean, that is a really interesting piece that you were able to engage with them. Now, did this come from delivery, going to them and saying, hey, we have this great model, come over here? Or how are you able to get that done? Maybe you can give a little perspective on that.
Yeah, so what we tried to do is show early success with our teams and then offer to work with other groups that needed our help. So it really became sort of an organic opt-in where you can see the benefit or the value. And the way that we sort of position it is, if we develop a software product and we deliver it to production, that doesn't mean that it's giving value to our customers. It only begins to give value to the customers if it's marketed effectively, if you have the right enablement activities to go to market. So we really tried to stress that systems thinking end to end, and groups were willing to work with us when we showed that we were able to deliver better results.
So you're talking about the ability to respond and have a go-to-market plan around a product, not just the product, and not knowing how to, how do you market it, how do you sell it, what do you say, what's the price? So having a go-to-market from a response perspective, and then also from a sense perspective, what does a customer want? How do they see value? So I guess it's a leading question. How would you define business agility? Is it come around like sensing what customers want and responding with a go-to-market or go-to-customer plan? Is that how you?
Well, for me, it comes in two parts. One is that you need to have a sense of what you're looking to accomplish. What are those outcomes that you want to achieve? And then how do you have a sense that you are achieving those? Because every company wants to grow revenue or reduce cost, but those are lagging indicators. So I think what you need to do is enable the organization to identify what are the leading indicators that we want to rally around, so that if we see a movement from baseline to the future state, that we can have confidence that we're ultimately going to grow revenue or reduce cost. So we use a technique called objectives and key results to link our high-level strategy to our in-flight work, and we try to make sure that the programs that we start consider, what is our go-to-market activities? Do we have a readiness checklist? And what are the outcomes of those leading indicators that we're trying to move, so that we can look back and measure and see if they've ultimately been successful?
So those OKRs, as you're describing, who's involved in this conversation? When you say we, who's we? Can you give us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so sort of at the C-suite within the content analytics and technology group, we have all of the senior leaders that are setting what are their annual targets, and those objectives need to be quantifiable in terms of the outcomes that they're looking to achieve, and then it cascades down to the implementation teams. So we have about 55 areas across the organization that are leveraging OKRs to link that strategy to that in-flight work.
So this came out, I mean, the OKRs is kind of this, emerging idea. I hear it a lot out there. I'm sure you do too. Has there been kind of a positive buy-in to thinking this way from your senior leadership from the business side? How's that gone?
It's been a journey for us. So we've certainly, we tried to implement it and get sort of enterprise-wide adoption, and we didn't get a full adoption. So what we were able to do is work within one area, the content analytics and technology groups, all working together. And what that took was a leader to say, I see the value in this. I see that I want to be able to articulate what the outcomes are that we're going to try to achieve in a year, and I want to have it be measurable, and I want to be able to see what is our progress quarterly at achieving those goals. So by having one leader sort of be willing to show that courage, it's enabled us to permeate to other parts of the organization. It's not yet at a place where it's a full top-down mandate, but for the teams that are using it, they've felt that it's been very helpful.
So with that, I mean, that one leader, was that one leader raising his or her hand, or is that something that you had a, a particular strategy to engage them, to get that, to work with them and to try to create that champion? How did that happen?
So this leader was someone who definitely felt like we need to bring more focus to our work. So he was looking for ways that he could do that. And I had offered, based on some of my experience with OKRs before, that this is a technique that companies have used. We talked through how it might work, and we decided let's test and learn. So we decided to roll it out with one approach with a set of teams, and we've probably changed our approach and our process several times over the last 2 years using OKRs. And I think we're at a place where now it's part of a steady state way of working, and I feel like it's really good. And what he has created, what's been really important about it, is that he's emphasizing a learning culture. So this idea that we're not necessarily going to get it 100% right the first time, but we're going to try with our best efforts. Let's retrospect and think about how it worked, and then let's change the process as we go.
It's interesting because that's obviously having that leadership raise their hand and engage and try to redefine kind of a experimental kind of a culture where we can fail small and learn and grow and improve. That's really positive. I think that's fortunate. Outside of that particular leader, how would you have, if you didn't have that, what would your strategy have been to make this happen? Or have you come across resistance that you had to deal with along the way? Because what I'm saying is that seems to be the sweet spot right now. Dealing with the agile lean work and the operating model around that is hard enough.
Yeah.
Moving from just scaling agile to moving that way is hard enough. But now we have this additional layer of like, well, how do we create pull from the business? And that's what I'm trying to get to, is understand, okay, you got a driver. Outside of that, where are the areas of resistance? And if so, how were you able to handle that? And worked or not?
Yeah, we definitely hit areas of resistance, and we still do. My approach generally is to work with leaders one-on-one to identify, is there an awareness of a problem or opportunity to solve for? Is there a sense of urgency associated with being able to want to work? And then I try to focus on what's in it for them. What will they benefit from in terms of leveraging this technique so that we can do it? And then I say, is it safe to try? Like, it may not work. Let's treat it as an experiment, but could we try it for 3 months and then learn from it? And usually people are willing to give it a try. And then sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but more often than not it does. So that's my approach.
I have to clap for that, because that's brilliant change management, awareness, urgency, right? It's like nailed. And that's what's missing. That's what's missing. And that's a big frustration I see over and over again. The response I usually hear a lot is, hey, I have a really great thing, so if it's great for me, let me just go ahead and be really enthusiastic about it, and hopefully someone will raise their hand. But your approach is, hey, if there's awareness of a problem, let's discuss that. If there's not, how do we create awareness? So that is a really, really strong, I think that is a huge takeaway for today. I'm going to say that is a change management approach to creating an agile business, which you just adopted. And yes, you've had an executive raise their hand, but at the same time, you have a strategy which is much, much more powerful than just hope and enthusiasm to approach the business. So on that note, I'm just going to end this session in a huge thank you for you, because I think we have a great theme that we can carry on and check up with you on a regular basis, maybe quarterly or so. And we'll have a next episode another time, and we'll see how it goes.
Sounds good, John. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Take care.